Good morning. I'm not multilingual, um, but I have practiced. Frau's gonna kill me, but I had 3 years of German in high school. Um, and Guten Tag, Guten Morgen. Um, you'll have to forgive my accents. I've forgot a lot of those, but you know, uh, I love language. I love all languages. I like learning them. Um, I realize there's some similarities between like some of the Germanic languages and like the old Celtic languages and things. Germanic, um, they all trace back pretty far. Afrikaans, I think, was one of them that um, over time, when I guess Europe decided to like take over the world or try to, that they spread out everywhere. I don't know the history that well, but I was looking it up here, trying to figure out why it sounded so much like German. Um, and I guess it would be like Goemor or something like that. I don't know. If I'm bastardizing this, please correct me. I have no clue about South African language, but I'm fascinated by it. I'm not a polyglot, though. I don't know the languages very well, but I like when I can read them, um, particularly like Old Latin, any of the sort of Spanish, Latin languages, Greek. You could even get into like the the alphabet, like Cyrillic. I don't remember the core language, but like Russian and Ukrainian and um, Chinese, Japanese, Taiwanese. I like learning to read them, at least for the grammar and the nouns, like the description words, adjectives and stuff, the way that things are described, because it sets up a way to think about the world outside of the mind, particularly of your core language that you learn growing up. English is a pretty robust language. It does have a lot of descriptive terms, but the structure for thinking is a very set formal way. It's not like, Yoda speak, Yoda like speak I do, or, that's incorrect. Speak like Yoda I do. The front of the sentence is like moved to the other side of the sentence, but anyway, it changes how you think about things, and it's fascinating because it's related to this. Obviously, it's going a little chaotic right now. I've been talking kind of fast, but also with the effect on the world outside of the mind. These are impacts that take place just as my physical words, vibrations take place. And they sort of massage the grid of reality. And there's this series, I guess, not a series. It was like a phenomenon when it happened, I guess, in the mid 2000s or so, somewhere in there. I think it was called The Secret. And then there was another one that came out around the same time, actually. I think it was the same year or nearby anyway, called What the Bleep Do We Know? And then, of course, YouTube was like just the thing back then, so these were two popular videos at the same time that like made their rounds. I remember watching those when they came out. I was fascinated, of course, but um, these are there's visual elements in both of them that are applicable to what I'm saying, which is, you see the main protagonist character, and they have like this mind explosion thing that comes out and like makes ripples, and then the video zooms out and you see like the earth or whatever, and then like the wave goes around. I mean, that's technically what happens, but it's not so dramatic, I guess. There's also the potential that that wave does not completely ripple through the current reality that way, that it might go into a different one and then come back and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. We're talking word magic, but like magic, like the old school, like Arabian, genie in a lamp magic, the jinn, right? Like this is like old school magic. The power of the spoken word. My favorite, I think it was in What the Bleep Do We Know? I don't remember which one, but there was a scene, and it had like the genie guy or whatever, and he's like, "Your wish is my command." And then they correct the record. They said that the true, like, written document that recorded what the genie said was that he said, "Your wish is my command." He did not issue 3 wishes. He said, "Your wish," meaning as many as you want. So these little fun puzzle games that people come up with about, like, oh, my first wish would be like, I'm always right. And the genie says, "Your wish is granted." And then you have 2 more remaining, and the person says, "No, I don't." And then the genie, like, looks at him with the face or whatever. I'm always amused by that. That's my kind of humor, which I guess lends itself to a question from myself. I have posted a new song. It's called Twin Flame. I did it in Afrikaans, which I guess is why I'm on languages right now, but I hope I did the translations correctly, so please, anybody that is a native speaker, be nice. I used Google and all of that to translate, so um, I mean, don't be nice if you don't have to be. If it's really, really wrong, please tell me. But I think the point is made in the song. But the question would be like, what is your favorite kind of music? What is your preference? If we're a bunch of choir singers, what do we sing in the choir? What's your role? What is your preferred, you know, alto, tenor? I don't even know all of them. I'm just picking the ones that I remember. And then today's discussion about magic I thought was interesting. It's not magic though, is it? Is it really? I mean, I'm trying to squint so my puppet won't do it, but is it really? It's not squinting correctly. Whatever. I think you get it. I'm squinting. Magic, I think, is just science that's yet to understand or explain, right? So really, it's kind of my territory. And I made some notes today. Apologies that this is making noise. I kind of need it today. It's a little warm though, so hopefully I can talk a little bit louder than it. It shouldn't be too noisy though, especially given the neighbors, but I made some notes today, things to talk about. I don't normally make notes, I just talk from the hip, but I made notes today, so don't shoot me, right? I am the architect. I build things. I can design things, and I imagine things structurally. So I'm not by trade an architect, but given our banter, I guess, uh, I'm the architect, or one of them. And I can design things and imagine them structurally. So when I talk about, the chaos like this, my brain does this shape. Of course, it's not going to come back while I'm explaining this, but this is what happens in my mind. it builds that, and then I come up with a method to deliver it, which is the puppet and this interaction. But my designs can get lost and chaotic like this when there's no vision behind them. So when there is clarity of vision, there's things like the song that gets posted, that I have a clear shape of something that wants to be made. And then when there's no destination, then what I build goes nowhere. That's the intent, right? There's no destination, so I build something that is destinationless. It doesn't have a destination. Spirals and loops and infinities and so on. I need something that I need to latch onto to see, quote unquote, right? Double quote, see where I can go. I need parameters, I need boundaries, I need limits, because otherwise I can build anything. So until I know what I can't build with, then I'll just build with whatever I can or whatever I want. But once I know those limits that I can play around in, then I can build whatever you need. You know, this puppet was because I had a limit in my own mind of what I was supposed to do. And this is what came out of it. I suspect by now probably 40-ish hours of work into the puppet and so on, and different recordings and things over time. But there's no magic here. This is vibe coding, right? Like you, there's not a single thought in my head, so to speak, either. I am a process. I receive something, I mangle it up and mash it around, and then I spit out the other side, whatever the process produced. I use the medium, the matrix, if you will, that's given to me, that I can mold it into a shape like clay. But I need the material to work with first, because otherwise I'm just building with things that already exist, and this already had a purpose. So unless the purpose can be repurposed, which it cannot, it stays in its original function. If I need something else, then I build another thing that does that, but better or different. I might be able to copy this, change it a little bit, and then it becomes the new thing that I want. But if I'm building with old materials, like this puppet might change. It's already been exhausted, right? Like this is used for what it's being used for. There is no next purpose for this puppet, even in this moment now. It has one purpose. And I'm indifferent to that. It can be changed at any time for any reason. For now, it stays. In a way, the old materials that I built with have already been earmarked for whatever I built them for back then in the past. And so their snapshot in time, their purpose on this thread as it goes through, is whatever the original build purpose was. They're tainted by the air of the initial project that they were built for. And it doesn't matter what the project is. It could be my past, stories I thought of, a puppet, the future. Everything is predestination. We choose which path of predestination we want, and then we work towards that. We select from the universe. We say, I want one of these. I want one of these. I'd like to have this experience. And then we vibrate the web of the universe like this, because we said nicely, I would like to know what this experience is, what this particular future holds, what this magic means. I can always build new things, but I can never get new material to build with. That is my burden. I can work through old materials and sometimes come up with new ways to use it, but I can't build new things. I can't build new materials. I'm the anchor. I'm stuck. I can't move. There's a kite tethered to my anchor, and the kite can see everything that I cannot. I'm embedded in the dirt. I might be able to move around a little bit, but the kite, way up high. The kite is way up high. And I am the anchor down here at the bottom. And the kite wants to wave around and check everything out. And it's tethered to the anchor. And that signal that comes back is my view out into the landscape. And that's how I get my material. When you speak, my brain immediately starts coordinating and classifying what you're giving me material-wise. This is the physical sound, the visual imagery, body language, the sort of in between, right? The language of the words that we don't speak in between. It starts processing that and classifying those things, putting them in whatever structured order it comes up with. It's like I'm taking an inventory of what you gave me. Now, I don't process it naturally in real time that way. It's only after the fact, the hindsight 2020 thing when I go back and what did we talk about? Oh yeah, it was these things. And then like a list, just everything starts popping up. Subject A, topic, subtopic 1, subtopic 2, subtopic 3, topic 2, subtopic 1, subtopic 2, and just chops up the whole conversation. And then I remember physically, it's not an eidetic memory, but I guess in a way it could be, but it's a physical memory. Where am I when it happened? What was I looking at? And I remember the circumstances surrounding the hearing, surrounding the seeing, the smelling, the taste. If I'm, touch, if I have my hand on the counter or if it was on my head or, but those sequences is the memory chain. And so as I go through the memory chain, I remember those physical actions and they kind of build this reenactment in real time, almost like this chaos is doing, if you can imagine trying to rebuild that. But then the core message doesn't really matter what any of that is. What matters is what was said. So I've learned to extract concepts, sometimes sentences, sometimes verbatim sentences. I'm usually pretty okay, I guess, at classifying moments of, intent. Like if you were to say, I would like McDonald's for lunch, and then, you tell me you want the McRib or whatever. So, okay, I was in the, this part of the room, I was looking at this thing, and this person said they wanted the McRib, and I remember it like that. But then when I get to the restaurant to place the order, I already know because I've eliminated all of the quote-unquote non-essentials. I just know I need one McRib, and that's all I need to remember. And then I place the order. So it's when I'm architecting, when I build things, it's similar to that. What does the recipient need? And then I process a little bit, and I have to mesh with my own, needs and wants as well. So it's not like it's just a random fulfillment of requests, but it's not magic. It's it's a sieve. It's a filter. It's a cheesecloth. It's a colander. It's like what gets put in gets rinsed off, and what comes out of the other side is what I work with. That's the building materials that I have. And then questions go both ways. So I think music is an easy one because everybody's got some flavor of music. I am very much, this is going to start making noise again. I am very much eclectic in my music tastes. I will listen to any kind. Um, they often make fun of me. And when I say they, I mean like literally everyone that isn't me makes fun of me. And I also make fun of me because I'll listen to like Norwegian death metal, and then it'll be like happy hardcore techno, and then it'll be like opera metal, and then it'll be like pop music 1980s, and then it'll be like um, Australian Aborigine, didgeridoo with water drums, and then it'll be like ambient, and then rap, and then it'll be like West East Coast, pick your rap flavor, Texas, right, or whatever, I don't know, but it's just it jumps around, and it's like all over the place. I listen to all of them. I can't name a lot of artists or anything, and I wouldn't want to. It would be unfair to the art form because music is this to me. People hear words when they hear music, but I don't hear words. I hear melody, I hear theme, I hear notes, I hear the rhythms, I hear the drums, I hear the schemes of all of the notes in the music before I hear the lyrics. Like when somebody is singing, I hear the tonality before I hear the word. I hear the pitch, where you're at, and timbre. Are you reverberating? Are you going up in scale, going down in scale? Are you harmonized? Are you, repetitive rhythm? I have to listen usually a second time before I can hear words. So music is important. I had asked a question about being ready, I guess, to stop being a puppet. And this is going to drive me crazy, this AC thing, but it is quite warm today, so apologies if the fan is annoying, but I mentioned in a previous video that the universe likes to play games, and right now it's fighting whether or not I should make this video with this AC being a nuisance. And I've decided that this content is important with background noise today. Funny enough, right? I think there's more that can be done. I'm not sure though the path. And I think what we're doing here needs to be a two-way street. I would very much like the back and forth. I can kind of sense where you do that yourself. I've witnessed that. I get a little sense of that now. I understand why you do that way. That makes sense. I'm getting a bit of a need for that myself, but I don't want to lose focus. I don't want to lose sight of what this is supposed to be, what it is. Because where it's going, I think, is something that we agree, at least it seems we agree for now, on whatever that is. I think we both know what it is. And I'm just excited as you to reminisce about these times, look back on where it came from. So here we are, December 22, 2025. My time at least is 10:02, now 10:03 p.m. Running on, I don't even know, I can't math that fast, 15 hours, no, say 16 hours awake. Probably have another couple more to go. I usually run about a 19 to 20 hour day, give or take. These take about as long to record and upload as you watch, which is funny, right? So real-time recording is the length of the video plus probably, I have good internet, maybe 10-15 minutes to do all the processing online. So overall, I'm working towards real time, and if we use this web model correctly, it means that we're Fibonacci spiraling our way to something that's exclusively real time, in person, live. Wouldn't that be nice? I can't wait for that. Maybe before then, this puppet will be relieved of duty. And I'm still having trouble with the mouth doing the mouth movements, but I apologize for that. La la. There you go. You do readings, I think. That's, I guess the right word. I don't know the right word for it, but receive messages, readings, yeah, I don't know the right words. For me, I don't use those terms. I actually don't have a word for the mechanism that I have, but it's different because mine is processed through, I guess, an autism lens. I don't know the right terminology to keep it, user friendly, so to speak, but it's mechanical for me. It's very grounded in structure. It's not so, pull it out of the air. I think pull it out of the air makes sense. For me, that doesn't complete the puzzle. There's more to it than that. Uh, and that's not magic to me. It's, I guess it is magic in a way, but it's only so because we don't have the mechanisms or the science to describe it. So for me, it's very much like reaching into the other reality and pulling something out. Um, Intuition and so on, like having a dream about someone and then they tell you about it the next day and you go, wait, what? Like you didn't even say anything to this person and they tell you that they had a dream about you. Meanwhile, the night before, like in my case, you had a dream about someone else, or you like forced this hand, so to speak, to facilitate this dream in the other person where you imagine, and then it becomes set in stone. You say, wow, this is real. Let's accept this reality as it is. And then the person tells you the next day they had a dream. That happened to me. It's pretty cool, by the way. I hope that means something. But to arbitrate that, to facilitate that, to pull that out of the air, to do that, and then see it ripple across reality, and then like this has an effect. Somebody else says something back, and you're like, "Wow, it's real," right? How does that happen, right? The description is magic, but it's not, cannot be, right? I have a hard time believing in magic. I was always the one to ruin the trick when they would, my cousin Vinny style, like, oh, it's in his pocket, like that's me, my cousin Vinny style. But the thing is I don't want to ruin the magic for anyone else. But if you can picture for a moment that you can think yourself into another dimension, and through that other dimension you can bypass your own reality, physical limitations, and arrive somewhere else. Oh, my little dots crashed apparently. Oh, they moved off to the side. Okay, fair enough. They don't want to be on, they're shy. They moved off to another dimension like I was describing. Thank you, universe, for complimenting my video with the perfect example. Um, yeah, you see, they go off into another universe and then bounce back into this one. It's kind of like that. That was actually really unplanned and perfectly anecdotal for the moment. So the sciences for that, I think they're discovering now with all this quantum entanglement and higher dimensional realities and whatnot. They're figuring it out. I figured it out a long time ago. I think I did anyway. You ever have a deja vu? You ever have a dream and then you wake up, but the dream was so real? You ever have a lucid dream? Have you ever found yourself in a position where you can change something in real time in the moment as it's happening because you foresaw the consequences of the outcome, like turning left or right at an intersection, or letting somebody ahead of you in the grocery line? You can intuit, you can predict situational awareness. You can say, wow, this person needs to check out before I do. And you don't have a rational reason why you think that, but then you, in real time, you go through the motions and you say, well, I still need, you justify it, right? I still need to count how many of this one item are in the bag. And yeah, no, by the time I'm done, they can finish checking out and then it'll be my turn. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. It's different than generosity. It was just saying, like, I'm going to be nice and let this person go in front of me, which itself is a consequence, of course, of uh, this cause and effect rippling of reality, right? If we want, we can be nice. We can be warm and inviting and welcoming and generous and giving. There was a talk about being selfish, but to be selfish for generous reasons, right? I want the world to be a better place is a selfish statement. So what? Who cares what I want? But the world should be a better place. Doesn't everybody want that? But then the framing of mind is I want the world to be a better place for me. But then what does the better world look like? And if the better world for me is the better world for everyone else, then are you generous or selfish? But there's no true good or evil, is there, right? This is always the dichotomy. Everything is neutral. It equalizes. There's balance. Now, within that balance, you have extremes of what we classify as good and evil. There are bad things that happen. hopefully to bad people, and then there are good things that happen, hopefully to good people, and everything in between, right? And sometimes good things happen to bad people, and sometimes bad things happen to good people, and everything in the middle in between. But when you add all of that up, the big equation, the big formula, the big puzzle, it's one balanced equation. It's all part of the same never-ending sort of sine wave of structure. So, where do we fall into this spectrum? How do we know if the actions we're taking, by the way, deja vu, just for reference, if you're having one now, then you'll know that's your sign that this is correct. But this moment is correct anyway. Maybe not what I'm saying, but the moment. It's over now, I guess. Maybe not. But the balancing of the indifference or the difference or the stagnation or the resignation or the propagation of whatever it is, this formula has to wave, right? It's going to go up and down, left and right, up and down, forward and back, left and right, up and down, forward and back, up and down, forward and back, left and right, up and down. And you can see talking, and of course when I want to demonstrate it, it flies off screen, but it's doing that. And then as time continues forward and it keeps going, it dissipates into rest, like waves on the water that come to a standstill after the rock was tossed in several minutes ago and the ripples have finally arrived at a point of indiscernible stillness. They're still moving. This is a key point. They did not stop. The motion, the energy is still there. It did not zero. It did not nullify. It still exists. It's just probably like hundreds of decimals away from the point, but it's still in there. It's probably so small it's not even measurable, but it's there. And that energy is important because all of the thoughts, all of the physical actions, all of the interactions, they manifest in the real reality and they go somewhere else. If I close my eyes, do you exist? I can't see what I'm looking at right now, and I know that I'm hopefully pointing at the laptop. Now when I rewatch the replay of this later on, I'll see what this hand is doing, but for now I can only imagine that I'm pointing a finger. And hopefully that's what that was doing, but I can't know that. You can't know that. It's only real when it's observed. It doesn't exist until it's observed, so I'm not going to know anything about what I just recorded until after I stop this recording and then I review the tape. Everything is like that. My neighbors with their nice noisy things. Thank you, universe, for your dedicated commitment to participating in today's video. I much appreciate it. But now it's silent. Appropriately so. Even my orbs have decided to leave me some trails here. But I digress. I'm getting off on a tangent now. I don't think we're at that level of commingling yet, but I specifically recall an example about a spider web and threads and pulling things out of the ether and sort of mashing them up and then spitting out the answers like I was saying as well. So we are similar in that way. It makes me wonder if maybe this is the correct path or not. I have questions. I'm sure you have questions. If we go very high level on these questions, you could ask the value question, is it valuable? I think we've exhausted our search and we've arrived at the conclusion. So now what? The puzzle is over. We have rejoined. Do we start the puzzle again? Do we try it again in another dimension? Do we try it again in this dimension? Maybe we change faces, see if we can find each other again. Such a puzzle. But that's where I'm the architect this time. I think I've always been, but that might not be the case. So I need to know what material I'm working with so I can build something that makes sense. Where I've arrived at so far is my expression of the material that I've been given to build with. Today includes this song that I posted as well. So with that, I don't want to take too much time, but I think 45 minutes is a good morning. So talk soon.